So, as Izuku says we're going to clash, something weird happens. One of his skills, nine red scabbards, says System Override activated. Skill transformation. Izuku thinks that this is going to be a upgrade to a skill, but what happens is, with that, it turns into all nine of the retainers disappear and go back to the lines with one knee down as they have their head down. And as that happens, they all they all lose their personalities, lose their sentience. They all become servants, pretty much. Ichigo turning from her white delinquent outfit turns to white samurai armor that fully covers her entire body, showing nothing. Again, his samurai armor stays the same, but again, it covers everything. Ite, his gambler's outfit turns into black armor that covers his entire body. Shido's armor turns half red, half blue, and covers his entire body. Yuki's black tuxedo with coattails turns into a black set of armor. Ed's white scientist coat turns into white samurai armor. Light's yellow pinstripe suit turns into yellow samurai armor. Shin's black sweats turns into black armor. And Lane's school outfit turns into um, turns into blue armor. And they all lose their personalities. And with that, Izuku levels up from level 43 all the way to level 49. And also, he gains the uh, title Blade General. Gives plus 50 attack to all sword weapons per rank and plus 100 when to king rank. 10% physical damage reduction and plus 1000 health and mana per level. And with that, Izuku shoots all the way up to at level 49. He has At level 49, he has 85,769 health and 57,765 mana. And also it says title upgrade to question mark at level 90. And it doesn't say anything under that. So with that, Izuku then excuse me. Izuku uses blade attunement to bump lycanthropic devastator and black connected killer up to king rank. He's he's wondering what king rank does, and as he does that, it upgrades. And with that, going to king rank, it bumps the it bumps it from it bumps it from plus 50 to plus 60 to strength and vitality, and also plus 35 to all stats. And same with the lycanthropic devastator. and the damage goes from 450 for Lycanthropic Devastator up to 600, and for Black Knight Killer up to 625. And also, that's when after his attunement, after his attunement, um, the plus 50, the plus 50 goes onto it, putting Lycanthropic Devastator up to um, so it puts him up to yeah, it puts Black Connected Killer up to 1075 attack, and it puts Lycanthropic Devastator up to plus 1070 or 1050 attack. And with that, Izuku is very much in awe. But as he's looking at it, he looks at his skills. It's and it says, and he also grabs the sword that has the green note skill, as he uses Blade's Eye on it. And when he gets it as a skill himself, when any type of greenery, such as trees, grass, flowers, or any type of plant is near you, your speed, damage reduction, attack speed, stats are all increased by 100%. It costs 10 mana a second. Mhm. And also his Fell Giant, when fighting enemies, that are bigger than you, you deal 40% more damage and move as well as attack 30% faster. And Monster Strength. When activated, user goes into a state of pure rage, making the user deal 50% more damage, take 30% less physical and magical damage, and you move 40% faster, 5 mana every 10 seconds. And Iron Body level 1 can turn body into iron. And also Laugh of the Blade Master. And as that, Izuku sees the body of the samurai turn into pure condensed mana, disappear, and so do all of the foot soldiers and dead bodies around him. They disappear and sort of almost escape from the instance dungeon. And with that, Izuku is sort of stunned, as he doesn't really know what to say. As he says, as he thinks himself and says, "I see." So most like so. hmm, So most likely, as he thinks for a second, most likely, I have to. He's thinking, and he says, most likely, depending on how it is, it seems that he turned into mana as well as the others, and they all escaped. They're most likely moving to enhance other places with pure mana. It seems that the world is growing stronger by the second. As he slams his fist together, this is getting interesting. And with that, the 9 scabbards turn into keychains as they hook onto Izuku, as they sort of hook onto Izuku's belt, or onto his pants at least. Izuku nods his head, and he says, "Good, good, good." And with that, Izuku leaves. For the next little bit, he's just doing he's just doing random stuff. until he gets a until he gets to a strike squad. During this strike squad, he meets a person named Suk, meaning Huang Dong Suk, who Izuku knows who he is. He's the young older brother of S rank hunter who left of the S rank hunter who left Korea, Huang Dong Su. And Izuku did have a bit of resentment towards Dong Su, but he can't really say anything considering that he did the exact same from Japan to Korea. Obviously, Izuku liking Korea more than Japan. He is a bit miffed and a bit mad that Dong Su left, but he can't really be that mad. But he also meets a man by the name of, or man in quotations, because he's really just a kid. Jin um Jin Ho. He meets he meets he meets Jin Ho for the first time, and with that, Izuku just um he takes a liking to Jin Ho. Izuku is a bit more sociable than Jin Woo, and he actually likes partake. He likes talking to people, especially in Korea. It seems that a lot of them are nice and pretty respectable of each other. And Izuku does the same with Dong Suk. He doesn't really. He thinks that Dong Suk is a bit of a weird one and a bit weird, but he still wants to. He's he does see that Dong Suk is a bit of a weird one, but he doesn't really care considering hunters are all weird. All are a weird bunch. And with that, um, Izuku heads in to the C rank dungeon, and he starts going to town, taking out all of them with ease, pretty much. And as Izuku's doing this, he gets a weird feeling from the dungeon. He just brushes it off as he thinks it's just a C rank dungeon, even if it's not that hard. And with that, Izuku keeps going through, and he keeps getting that weird feeling, making sure he keeps Jin Ho close to make sure that Jin Ho stays safe. And when they get to the um, boss room, uh, Izuku feels something weird as he sees Dong Suk shove a sword right through right through Jinho's chest. As he sees this, Izuku just laughs as he says, "You, you really want to die, don't you?" He grabs Jin Woo. He grabs Jin Ho, and he brings out Gin, where Gin turns into a Oni and heals Jin Ho. But Izuku looks at Dong Suk and thinks to himself, "Huh? So I'm assuming he's a lizard, like that one old guy talked to me about." Flashback. During the time from Izuku getting his job as the Monarch of the Blade, he did meet with Gogun with Chairman Gogun He a couple of times. He met with him a couple of times, and he talked to him about different things in the hunter's industry, helping out Izuku, making sure to explain to him how processes can go. And with that, Izuku was also told about lizards, how lizards are hunters that go into dungeons, go into dungeons, and since dungeons really can't be surveilled, any deaths in there are put up to monsters and accidents. So these lizards go in and kill members of a strike squad that they put together. And when Izuku realizes this, he just laughs. And he says, I've never killed a human before. I wonder." As he disappears from the line of sight, as he disappears from Dong Suk's line of sight, and without even having his swords, he plants one foot Dong Suk's uh, on Dong Suk's chest and pretty much kicks a hole right through his chest as he grabs Dong Suk's face and slams it into the ground as he goes through completely eviscerating the rest of Dong Suk's squad. And with that, Izuku feels something. The mana from their bodies is being ripped out as they go to the arachnid-like boss, and the arachnid-like boss jumps down. Izuku tells Gin to get Jinho out the way, where he jumps out of the way. Gin does with Jinho and sort of carrying him. And with that Izuku sees this arachnid type monster transforming and getting giant and getting bigger and bigger as he grows legs and grows a humanoid body as his head turns into a into a human head, mouth still like a spider and eyes still like a spider. As Izuku sees this, the monster then says, "Hello." And before long, Izuku has out Black Connected Killer and Izuku has out Black Connected Killer and Lycanthropic Devastator, turning into activating Laugh of the Swords Master, Fell Giant activating as well, and Monster Strength activating, as well as Iron Body turning on, and also going into Visceral State with Lycanthropic Devastator, and Green Notes does activate as Izuku activates Green Notes by using a spell that grows greenery in the area. And with that, Izuku blitzes forward, going in for a fatal blow to the neck of this giant spider person. But the giant spider slams with his fist right into Izuku's stomach. Or not Izuku's stomach, but into his body, sending him flying backwards. Izuku is losing a bit of control here, but he gets it. He gains back control of midair as he flips. And with that, Izuku channels all of his power into his legs, and in pretty much a burst of pure, devastating motion, disappears with a and slams his sword into the uh into the arachnid-like creature, create creating a shockwave as they clash. Izuku drops to the ground, and he keeps jumping up and down, keeps jumping up, trying to get as many attacks in as possible. And with a sing and the arachnid-like thing clashing with him, brings up his foot, slamming Izuku into the ceiling. Izuku Izuku falls back down as he says, "Damn!" And with that, Izuku then falls to the. Izuku then says, "War Mage, fire! War Mage, fire domain!" And with that, the arachnid-like creature is engulfed in a sphere of fire as you just hear the wailing and the yelling as it breaks out, as it then puts up his hand, as it says, "Fire, fire spear." But as it says fire spear, fire bursts out of its hand, creating thousands of fire spears as long as Izuku and as thick as Izuku, firing at him. Izuku Izuku is just completely Izuku is being overwhelmed at this point as some of them are slamming into him. Boom, boom, boom. And is to when Izuku gets to the point, and when Izuku finally gets up to him, Izuku just says, "Link, start," as he jumps towards the stomach, getting a low shot, slamming Black Connected Killer, linking, creating link points all over, just climbing up. And with that, Izuku then drops down across his chest, creating ginormous marking wounds. And with that, Izuku's grabbed by the thing, trying to get out. The arachnid monster throws Izuku into the ground and keeps stomping on him, as it says Earth magic. And with that, where Izuku is pushed underneath the ground, as it seems to almost squish him. He just he just says, "No, not here." With that, Izuku then casts an earth magic spell as well, sort of creating a chasm in the boss room. He jumps out of it, and with that, Izuku slams his foot into the side of the creature, as the creature coughs up blood as he hears bones breaking, his ribs being shattered. Izuku takes this footing, jumps up, and slams his foot into the back of the head of this arachnid, slamming his face into the chasm. And with that, Izuku says, "Sword magic!" And with that, thousands of swords that Izuku doesn't even know the name of, each of them being insane. As he says, "Sword rush!" And with that, Izuku actually unlocks another monarch skill. He unlocks another monarch skill, Sword Rush. Izuku is a bit surprised at this, as he thought it was just a normal spell for sword magic. But Izuku, understanding what his job is, and being the Blade Monarch, he understands. The way it's described is thousands of swords that are equal in rank to your to the sword or swords to the sword or swords you are wielding appear behind you appear behind you, creating a creating a giant um slamming slamming of these swords into your enemies. Swords into your enemies. Izuku's Izuku finds this interesting as he keeps doing it, and he realizes mana is being drained insanely fast. As he sees that the claw that it says each sword created is 5 mana, and if he can tell, there's at least 5,000 swords here. So half of his mana half his overall mana is being drained. 25,000 mana is being drained every single time he activates the skill. So he stops as he's down to 25,000 mana. As each sword is being slammed into the arachnid's chest. As Izuku then says, "All right, let's try this." As in his lycanthropy mode, and with Laugh of the Swordsmaster on, Fell Giant, Monster Strength, Iron Body, he activates Speedster, moving at 429%, activating Elemental Carver, bathing his Black Connected Killer in the powers and the elements, in the element of lava, and his Lycanthropic Devastator in the element of ice. Goes forward as he's screaming at the top of his lungs, and with that, Izuku goes to slash the neck, slash and completely destroy this thing's head. But he makes it only halfway in, as his blades are stuck, as he's grabbed by the monster, thrown against the wall, as he's lost his swords, as he says, "Well, this is a predicament, isn't it?" As Izuku then activates Iron Body fully over his entire body, and pushes as much power into as much power into this pushes as much power as he can into his legs. As with one as 1 second he's there, the next second there's a crater, and the next second after that, the head of this giant arachnid humanoid is blood on the back wall. As Izuku grabs his swords, they put back into his inventory. As Izuku levels up 3 times to a level 52. And putting his health total up to 87,000 and his mana total up to 59,000. Or no, putting his health total up to 58,000 and his mana total up to 60,000. And with that, Izuku is fine. Izuku kills the thing, and he gets a level up reward. Level up reward is Fire Sale. While this is active, when activated for the next 24 hours, all things in the system shop are a tenth of their price. Izuku is fascinated as he then goes over to Gin, where Jinho is. As Jinho is very very confused. He says, "You're just you're a B rank hunter. How? What the hell?" Izuku says, yeah, I guess, yeah." Then says, "I guess there's only one thing left to do." As Izuku gets out his sword, Jinho says, "Sir, please, please, please." As Izuku walks up to Jinho, as he says, I'm joking. As he starts laughing to himself. "Well, if you don't, we can stay friends if you don't tell anyone." As he puts out his hand, Jinho puts out his hand as they shake hands. Jinho says, Izuku says, "Jinho, you're the son of a, you're Jinho, you're the son of Yojin, of Yo Construction. You're the son of their chairman, correct?" Jinho says, "Yeah, I am. Is that a problem?" Izuku says, nah, as long as you're not snobby rich fuck. Jinho just says, nah, that's not, that's not me, that's my brother. Izuku says, tell me about it. You wanna go get some coffee? Jinho says, oh, hell yeah, I know this really good coffee place. Izuku's about 15, and Jinho at this point is around 17 to 18. And Izuku says, so, did you go through any hunter school? Jinho says, no, my parents put me through a private school. My parents just put me through a private school. I was awakened in my last year of private school, so I just finished out there, and I started being a hunter after that. Izuku nods his head, says, understandable. But Jinho says, but by the way, so what rank are you? Izuku says, well, I'm supposed to be a B rank hunter, but and Jinho cuts him off and says, you're at least an S. You're at least an S rank hunter. There's no way you're anything below an S rank hunter. Izuku nods his head and says, probably. I have a skill that lets me suppress my mana, but I can't. I don't think if I even use that, I don't think I'll be able to. Um, but just make sure just make sure, or because even with mana suppression, I don't think I'll be able to suppress my mana down to a B rank. So gonna have to. But Jinho says, why don't you just test out? Izuku, surprised that says test out. What do you mean? As they're currently at a cafe having some coffee and some cake. As Jinho says, yeah, you can test out. You're going to which school are you going to? Izuku says, oh, I'm going to Sanyang Kun Hagayo. He says, yeah, you can especially at that school, as long as you go through the right channels, I can get you connected. As long as you talk to the right people, you can easily test out. Izuku says, so what are the requirements for testing out? Uh, Jinho says, well, first you need to be a licensed hunter. Izuku nods his head and says, yeah, I got my license in Japan, and all my files have been transferred over. So I'm currently registered as a hunter under the Hunters Association. Jinho nods and says, that's one checkbox. And he then gets on his phone and says, I think he looks up the requirements and he says, so you did that. You need at least 20 gates cleared. Uh, as Jinho is currently on the website for Sanyang-kun Hagayo. So yeah, you need that. You need that. So you're done. 20 gates. 20 gates cleared. Yeah, you need 20 gates cleared. You need to be. You need to at least. You need to have at least gone one full day of school. And also, you need to get clarificate. You also need to get a reference from someone in the Hunters Association. Izuku nods and says, "I see. So can it be like the chairman?" Jinho looks at him surprised and says, "Of course. If you can get the chair, I'd be surprised. I'd say you could even skip the entire process if you get the chairman's voice. But I don't know if that's actually how it works." Izuku nods and says, "You're pretty knowledgeable about this stuff, eh, Jinho?" Jinho nods his head and says, "Yeah, I'm training to be a guild master. I have to get a bunch of business stuff, and because my family is trying to create, or my dad at least is trying to create a guild. And my older brother, he's pretty. My older brother's he's like 25, and he's the one that my father's considering giving it to. But I want to be the guild master. I know, an E-rank guild master. Not something you see every day, but I at least want to. I at least want to be the guild master And yeah, Izuku says, I've actually been thinking about starting a guild. Jinho looks and says, yeah, you could easily do that. The requirements are just clear 20 gates, which we'll have to do anyways to get you ready for your testing out of school. Izuku nods his head and says, understood. Jinho says, if you are, I'd be interested in helping you. Izuku says, yeah, how about this? I be guild master and you be the vice guild master. Jinho says, wait, I mean, um, I, I still want to, like, I still want to, I still want to work for my dad's guild. Izuku nods his head and says, understandable, understandable. Well, uh, it, you want to do some more gates? You want to do some more gates tomorrow? Jinho nods his head and says, of course. He then says, but then Jinho says, well, first we're gonna have to get a strike squad together. Izuku shakes his head and says, don't worry. I'll have all that settled by tomorrow. Jinho nods his head as Izuku gets up, heads out, giving both of them swapping their contact info. With that, Izuku heads to the Hunters Association, where he summons his where behind the where out of sight he summons his 9 scabbards as they all walk in. They set up their appointments. They set up their appointments for getting evaluated, and they all get evaluated as S rank hunters. Now this is very now this is very surprising as 9 S rank hunters showing up at the exact same time. Pretty suspicious. But Izuku's pretty good at smooth talking, and but Izuku's pretty good at smooth talking, and he gets them registered because they seem like as though they are human. They don't seem like they seem like they are human. They don't seem like they're yeah, they seem like they are human. They don't seem like they're monsters or summons. And the next day, the next day, Izuku and Jinho are walking down the street as they see a man climb out of a as they see a man walk out of a dungeon. Izuku meets eyes with him as they both look at each other. As Izuku says, as Izuku walks up to him and says, "What's your name?" And with that, the man says, "My name is Sung Jin Woo." And with that, Izuku gets a pop up, as so does Sung Jin Woo, and he can see this. And he said, and they both say, "Player has been found." Izuku looks at him and says, "You're." Sung Jin Woo just nods his head. Apparently, says, "Apparently there's 2 of us." Izuku nods his head. Izuku says, but before Izuku say anything, Jinho says, "Oh, Sung." Izuku turns around and says, "Oh, Jinho, you know this guy?" Jinho nods and says, "Yeah, he saved me during a raid during a gate the other day." Izuku nods his head, and Sung says, "Oh, hey Jinho." Izuku says, "Oh, we're going to do some raids today. I have to get certification. I have to do 20 raids so that I can get my so I can get so I can get the requirements to test out of Sanyanku Haguyo." Izuku, I mean, Jinho nods his head, or Jinwoo nods his head and says, "Yeah, I'd be fine for that." Izuku with Jinho and Jinwoo are walking down down the street to the place for the gate, and um, Jinwoo says, "So, do you guys have a strike squad?" Izuku looks at him and says, "Not quite." As with that, when they get there, Izuku summons his 9 scabbards. As Izuku says, "I tricked the Hunters Association into having these, into having these be considered human hunters." Jinwoo just laughs and says, You're a pretty shifty kid, eh?" Izuku says, "We're hunters. What do you expect?" And with that, Izuku brings out 2 great swords. Flashback. Flashback to yesterday after the official recognition of the 9 scabbards as new S ranks. And with that, Izuku activates the reward he got for leveling up. Izuku has about a million gold. Izuku has about a million gold, and he's ready to buy some stuff. First, he buys a monster hunter, a rank S monster hunter sword with 700 attack, plus 60 strength and vitality. Uh, yes, a rank S monster hunter sword with plus 60 with plus 60 strength and vitality, 25% physical and magical damage reduction. And Izuku ranks this up to king rank, pushing it up to um, pushing it up all the way to king rank, putting it at 875 attack, and also blade general to blade general pushing it to blade general pushing it up to 1300 and 1325 attack as a king rank sword, and also pushing it at king rank to have, instead of plus 60, have plus 80 to strength and vitality. And it has two abilities. The first ability is ability 1, Overdrive. While in combat, you can spend 5 mana a second to overdrive, increasing your stats and damage by 300%, and also your attack speed and speed by 150%. And also, Izuku used Blade's Eye. Izuku used Blade's Eye to gain the abilities of the Black Connected Killer, and also the of the Black Connected Killer, and also of uh, of the Lycanthropic Devastator. But Izuku notices something. Even when he destroys the sword, it still counts apparently as him having it active, and it also upgraded the skill. So instead of 200% for lycanthropy, it went up to 400, and poisonous power went up to 15%. Visceral went up to 60%, and Link still stayed at 500% more damage, as it already was a very strong ability. And Izuku bought that. He bought that. It was a sword. The sword was worth 500k, but he bought it for 50 since it was a tenth of the price. He also bought a pair of spiked gloves. That was he bought a pair of spiked gloves that were 40% strength. That had plus 40 strength, agility, and sensing, and it has the ability of self inflicted. When hit with a physical attack, the attacker takes 35% of the attack back. These were 20k, but they were worth 200. He bought a chess piece for 50. The A rank chess piece, Hollow Fire Heart, gives 40% vitality and intelligence. Sun Heart passive. It gives the user 40% damage reduction to magic and 30% stronger fire damage, and gives your weapon fire damage equal to 30%, your 30% of your weapon damage. The 30% stronger fire damage stacks on top of this, plus 30% fire damage as well. Uh, He then splurged a little bit to buy a pair of 100k boots. The the S rank Hermes glider. The S rank boots Hermes glider. The S rank boots Hermes glider. Uh, it has a a plus 50 a plus 50 to agility and intelligence. And also it increases your speed by 75%, gives you the ability to fly, and gives you 15% uh, 15% damage reduction to physical and magical damage. He then bought another great sword for 200k, the S rank great sword King's Hand, 850 attack right off the bat, and a plus 50 strength, plus sorry yeah, plus 60 plus 60 strength, vitality, sense, intelligence, and agility, and special skill Emperor Domain. When activated, inside of this domain, you can see, hear, sense, and hit anything inside. And also its second ability, Dark. The second ability of the King's Hand, is Darkness. The ability to the blade can emit pure darkness in a slash that can ravage any enemy in your way. Then he also bought a piece of leg armor for 175,000. Robot legs, plus 40 agility, plus 40 agility and vitality. Your legs are more powerful and can push you 10 times faster. Your speed is 10 times what it was. You can activate the full mechanism to go 100 times faster than that. When activated, any attack you make while moving deals much more damage as it would if its mass was 200 times more. So pretty much 200 times more damage. Then another piece, seemingly to go with the robot legs, was worth the same 1.7, knocked down to 175. Hydraulic arms, A rank gauntlets, 40 strength and vitality. Your arms are 10 times stronger. Secret perk: combined with robot legs, skill exoskeleton activates. When activated, both pieces of armor are upgraded to S rank, and plus 45 to all stats, and your reflexes are pushed to the point of being more than superhuman. For the same price as the previous pieces, but not related, A rank necklace, Mana Seeker, plus 40 to intelligence and sense ability, Bloodhound. While wearing, you can sense and evaluate anything, giving off a Mana signature, be it human or monster. And for 200,000, previously 2 million, he bought an S rank helmet, Commander's Helm, plus 50 intelligence and strength. Skill Control. When activated, he can produce gravitational forces anywhere he wants within his vicinity. These forces are as strong as your physical strength. He then left 55,000 for future expenses, buying 20 greater mana and health potions for 1k each, recovering 10,000 health and mana on a consumption. Now, Izuku is a Izuku is very much a tank in this. But the king rank King's Hand It went up to 1,025 plus a whopping 300, a whopping 300 plus 400. So 1,025 plus 450, it's up to 1,475. And Izuku's armor, his robot legs, and his arms are put up to S rank, giving a plus 50 instead of plus 40 for each of them. And with that, Izuku, um, gains a. And with that, I need to. And also for the swords, upgrading to King rank gave them another ability. Monster Hunter's ability is Tame. After bringing a monster that is intelligent enough to the brink of death, you may make them your companion. And also, ability 3, Transform. For King's Hand, the blade turns into a river of pure black energy. The energy is enough to make a pool through the streets. The energy then is used to summon the Sword King. This man is pure. This man is made of pure darkness and is only able to be controlled by the God of Swords. He wields the King's Hand blade. So with all of the gear equipped, Izuku's stats are with all of this equipped, Izuku's strength is 637, agility is 565, vitality 603, intelligence is 560, and sensing is 503. His health is 112,000. His mana his mana pool is 800, is 87,986, and he has 70% physical damage reduction and 70% magical. And it also says that you can't go past this. And Izuku thinks himself when he sees this. That's something when I take the system for myself, I'll get rid of. And flashback to present day when Izuku takes out his king rank great sword King's Hand and his monster hunter. Jinwoo sees this and just nods his head and says, "Huh, nice." As he brings out his two daggers, which Izuku can see are easily S rank, and sees that one of them is actually a king rank dagger. Izuku looks at him and says, "Do you have a skill that lets you up the grade of one of your weapons?" He shakes his head and says, "No, I don't have something like that. I got these off. I got these off of something. I killed something and these dropped." Izuku nods his head, says, "Lucky, I guess." As for the next, as oh, it doesn't even take them with the combination of Izuku and Jinwoo. It takes them less than probably 30. It takes them like less than 2 hours to get 20 clears, which actually is record in Korea, which they set a new record in Korea for the fastest time to get 20 dungeons done. And Izuku's happy with that. Jinwoo then says, "Do you want to do some more?" Izuku nods his head and says, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." Jinho just says, sir, I think I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna head home for a little bit. I'm gonna head home and I'll meet y'all back. How about this? I'll head home and I'll meet you guys back in about 2 hours. And after that, we can get some coffee. How does that sound? both of them nod their head as they both love going to cafes. And at that, after a couple more normal gates, Jinho says, I have a quest that I need to take care of." Izuku nods and says, "What's the quest?" Job change. Izuku smiles and says, "After that, how about we have a fight, a little training sparring session." Jinho turns his head to the side and says, "Why?" Izuku says, "After that, it'll probably be thousands of times stronger." He says, "All right, I'll take you up on the offer." And with that, Izuku for the next little bit is he's training, doing some stuff. As as a man actually comes up to him. A man actually comes up to him who seems to be from the White Tiger Guild in Korea, and and tells him to come with him. Izuku Izuku nods. Izuku says, "Sure." As Izuku goes, as Izuku walks with the man, he finds himself at a at a gate. And he says, "You're a B rank hunter, correct?" Izuku nods his head. He says, "Well, would you like to go? I'm with the White Tiger Guild. Would you like to go on a training on an expedition with an A rank of ours? And if you like it, we'll give you some papers that will recruit you. And if you don't, we'll give you a couple thousand. Give you a couple million won for your problems." Izuku nods and says, "Sure, fuck it." As Izuku jumps at the idea. But as Izuku finds himself in the dungeon goes red as as they start reading as Izuku realizes that this place, with his Mana Seeker necklace, this is at least a S rank dungeon. And with that, Izuku realizes that he has to be extra careful, and he realizes where they are, and he just scowls as he realizes that this is where he was killed in quotation marks. As Izuku just follows the pack, and after that, the A rank hunter that apparently was supposed to lead, splits off, having one team go to fight the enemies, and the other team left to rot pretty much. Izuku goes with the team that's ready to rot, that was left to rot, and he helps them. And he makes sure to help them, make sure that none of them die. And with that, Izuku is ready. Izuku's ready to Izuku's ready to and Izuku's actually ready to kill that A rank hunter for leaving leaving two A ranks and actually a couple of B ranks and some C ranks left for dead pretty much. But Izuku sees after a giant bear slam its way towards them. Izuku doesn't even take out swords for this. He just activates Iron Body and grabs the bear's like paws. It's ready to slash at him. Rips the bear's claw off and tears the bear's jaw completely off, ripping it from it, ripping its jaw off as well as an entire strip of its stomach. Eh, Izuku takes care of the rest as they make it after a couple of days up to where the A rank hunter and his squad were killed with ice elves, and a lot of them. As Izuku takes out his sword, the ice elf looks at him off on his horse, and as that happens, an ice elf, another ice elf slips past Izuku and goes to, and stabs his sort of rips a scythe and rips a scythe right through one of the B rank's arms. Izuku sees this disappears, slices the ice elf's head off, and says, "Damn it!" as he summons out Gin and tells Gin to heal the person. Summons out Gin, telling Gin to heal. Yeah, telling Gin to heal the heal the B rank. And when Izuku sees this, he blitzes forward. The ice elf on the horse jumps off and starts clashing with the Izuku. Izuku is very much interested at this guy because it seems that he's almost too strong. It seems that Izuku is just pile driving. It's just pile driving this man. And what Izuku doing? But the man's not even getting pushed back. The ice elf is holding his ground very easily. But Izuku then goes into lycanthropy. Izuku goes into lycanthropy, laugh of the sword master. He goes into laugh of the sword master or laugh of the blade master. Activates monster strength, iron body. Goes into the visceral power, and activates lycanthropy. Activates green note for there being trees, and then activates elemental carver, speedster, and summons three, and summons three scabbards. These scabbards being uh, Ite, Kuro, Kuro, and Ed out as they take care of the ice elves behind the boss one. And with that, Izuku's clashing with this man. He's clashing with this man, and the man says, "For a human, you're pretty strong." Izuku says, "For an ice elf, you're pretty strong." The man laughs and says, "My name is Baruka." Baruka, and Izuku says, "Baruka, huh? You'll be, eh, you're pretty smart. I'll test my tame skill on you." And with that, Izuku activates control, creating a gravitational force, pushing the dagger out of Baruka's hand, putting away his monster hunter, and putting away his king's hand as he then pure metal on his puts iron body up and uses puts iron body up and uses commander's helm to create a ginormous gravitational force on his fist. And with that, Izuku slams Baruka's face, not even putting him anywhere, just all the way through into the ground as is Baruka is not even moving, but he's still there. He brings out Monster Hunter and says, "Tame, activate." And after that, it pops up a menu and says, Baruka Ice Elf, level, Baruka Ice Elf, level. This says Baruka Ice Elf, grade, Elite Knight grade, would stab sword, into into monster's heart to activate Tame. Izuku nods his head as he slams the sword into Baruka's heart. Tame activates as Baruka disappears and reappears as a reappears in front of Izuku. And on the blade, it has the name Baruka in kanji, as well as as it says, one out of two companions tamed. Baruka, Ice Elf. Izuku nods his head. He says, Baruka, myself. Are you my? Are you my soldier? Baruka nods his head as he says, I am only elite. I am only two. I am only I am only your servant, and your servant alone. Please use me as you see fit, master. Izuku nods his head with a smile and says, let's get out of here. As Izuku leaves and falls back into. As Izuku leaves, gaining his own, own soldier in Baruka. As as we go away from Izuku for a little bit, as we see a man. He he's an interesting one. He has a sort of he's a mafioso type suit. As he gets up, and he says, "Hunter, hunt two new hunters, Hunter Sungjin Woo and Hunter Izuku Midoriya, both Korean pledged hunters. Izuku Midoriya being from Japan. Midoriya, huh? I hope he's not. I hope there's no misconvenience." As he then heads out, as this is the S-rank hunter, leader of the Hunters Assassin organization, S-rank hunter Giovanni Casparde. As he also gets a thing that says Huang Dong-suk was killed in the same dungeon as in the same dungeon that Jin Ho and Izuku Midoriya were the only two to come out of. Izuku nods. He nods his head as he says, I hope that Dong Su's not. I hope that Dong Su doesn't try to go after him. I'll go after him myself." And he says, "Get Dong Su on the line. We'll tell him about that, and get someone to replace Dong Suk." As he then heads out of the place, as he sees a man with green hair down the hallway. As Giovanni goes up to him and says, "Hisashi, now, Hisashi, are you ready to move?" Hisashi nods and says, "Of course. We need, of course. Let us move."